There are habits that most people overlook, habits that, when observed closely, reveal something profound about the mind behind them. 5 behaviors, seemingly strange or even isolating, quietly signal a mind operating at a level far beyond the ordinary. These are not habits born from arrogance or vanity, they are the natural byproducts of intelligence, tempered by self-control, reflection, and emotional mastery. 1. The uncomfortable comfort with complexity. One of the most telling signs of exceptional intelligence is the ability to embrace complexity rather than shy away from it. While most minds instinctively seek simplicity, clarity, and immediate answers, the high IQ individual gravitates toward what is intricate, layered, and challenging. They do not settle for surface-level understanding, nor do they comfort themselves with convenient narratives. Instead, they thrive in the gray, where ambiguity reigns and certainty is a fleeting illusion. This habit may appear strange or even burdensome to those around them. Conversations that revolve around trivialities or gossip feel hollow. Decisions that lack depth seem superficial. They are often accused of overthinking, of being distant, or of complicating matters unnecessarily. But what is perceived as complication is in fact a deliberate refusal to conform to the shallow currents of conventional thought. The Stoic philosophers understood this instinctively. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A high IQ mind does not merely observe the world, it dissects it, exploring cause and effect, intention and consequence, action and reaction. They analyze motives, trace patterns, and anticipate outcomes, not for control over others, but to maintain mastery over themselves. Complexity is their training ground, a space where their intellect sharpens and their judgment is refined. This inclination toward complexity extends beyond thought into action. Life's problems are rarely linear, they twist and intersect in unpredictable ways. A high IQ individual does not avoid these challenges. They recognize that true growth comes from engaging with what is difficult, what is multi-layered, and what defies easy resolution. They have developed the patience to sit with uncertainty, to tolerate the mental friction that most find unbearable. In doing so, they cultivate resilience, foresight, and a calm authority that others cannot easily replicate. Moreover, this habit carries a subtle power. By engaging with complexity, they see nuances others overlook. They sense motivations, unspoken agendas, and hidden patterns in human behavior. They understand that life is not a series of black and white choices, but a spectrum of possibilities. This awareness allows them to navigate interactions with precision, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, and to influence situations without the clamor of dominance. What makes this habit particularly rare and valuable is that it is not performative. The high IQ individual does not flaunt their understanding or complexity. They do not seek validation for their insights or revel in appearing superior. Their pursuit is private, intrinsic, and disciplined. It is a form of internal cultivation, a lifelong investment in their own capacity to reason, to discern, and to act with integrity. The psychology behind this behavior is rooted in both self-awareness and emotional intelligence. They recognize the limits of their knowledge, which paradoxically drives them deeper into exploration. They understand that the world is neither simple nor fair, and that navigating it requires both intellect and patience. In Stoic terms, they practice prohairesis, the moral and rational faculty of choice, choosing to engage fully with reality, however challenging, rather than retreating into comforting illusions. In essence, their weird habit of embracing complexity quietly separates them from the crowd. It is a sign of a mind unwilling to settle for the superficial, a soul unafraid of discomfort, and a spirit committed to mastery over thought and emotion. While the average person seeks ease, the high IQ individual seeks understanding. While others avoid difficulty, they pursue it. While many are content with certainty, they dwell in nuance. This habit, seemingly uncomfortable to outsiders, becomes a cornerstone of their intelligence, resilience, and depth of character. To witness someone comfortable with complexity is to witness a mind alive, constantly interrogating, reflecting, and refining itself. It is a reminder that intelligence is not measured merely by knowledge, but by the willingness to dwell in the spaces where clarity is scarce and understanding is hard-won. It is a habit that builds depth, authority, and the quiet magnetism that others cannot manufacture. In embracing what others fear, they have discovered a power that is silent but undeniable, a command of life that comes not from force, but from a mind disciplined, curious, and unafraid of the uncomfortable truth. 2. The solitary observation of humanity. Another defining habit of a high IQ individual is their deep, almost instinctual inclination to observe rather than participate. While most are consumed by the need to be seen, to belong, or to influence, the high IQ mind often retreats into a quiet vantage point, watching the world unfold with measured attention. This is not mere aloofness, nor is it an indication of disdain. It is a disciplined and deliberate choice to understand before acting, to witness before judging, and to absorb the subtleties of human behavior that others overlook. This habit is often misunderstood. Outsiders may label them as antisocial, detached, or enigmatic. They may wonder why someone so intelligent does not dominate conversations or why they remain silent in group settings where influence seems readily available. Yet the truth is that their silence is a source of power. Like Marcus Aurelius observing the impermanent and irrational nature of human conduct, they understand that most words are empty gestures, and most actions are fleeting performances. They do not waste energy on the superficial. Instead, they focus inward, cultivating insight, discernment, and an unshakable calm. The psychology of this habit is profound. High IQ individuals recognize patterns in behavior that elude the average mind. They see the motives, fears, and desires that drive others, not to manipulate, but to understand the architecture of human life. They notice the subtle micro-expressions, the inconsistencies between speech and action, the small decisions that reveal character. This depth of observation becomes a lens through which they navigate relationships, decisions, and conflicts with clarity and precision. Solitude, in their case, is not loneliness. It is a necessary space for reflection, analysis, and mental refinement. They're comfortable in their own company, finding richness in thought and discovery within themselves rather than relying on external validation. This quiet introspection cultivates self-mastery. By observing without interference, they reduce impulsivity, temper emotional reactions, and allow logic and reason to guide their behavior. As Seneca advised, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. In solitary observation, they learn to separate perception from reality, fear from fact, and impulse from intention. This habit also manifests in their social interactions. They speak less, but their words carry weight. They act sparingly, but with discernible purpose. Their silence commands attention, not because of volume, but because of intentionality. People unconsciously recognize that someone who watches deeply, listens carefully, and acts with deliberation possesses an authority born of understanding rather than assertion. It is a subtle magnetism, a form of influence that is earned, not demanded. Moreover, this habit fosters resilience. By choosing observation over reaction, they avoid entanglements in unnecessary drama, petty conflicts, or fleeting social pressures. They maintain focus on long-term goals and higher reasoning, unconcerned with trivial validation. The world's chaos does not sway them easily, because they have trained themselves to witness it objectively, recognizing impermanence and maintaining control over their own responses. In essence, the solitary observation of humanity is a window into intelligence that is both rare and understated. It is a habit that blends psychology, Stoic philosophy, and human insight. By stepping back, they see the true currents beneath the surface of society, and in doing so, they navigate life with calm authority, clarity of thought, and an inner magnetism that others cannot mimic. This habit, strange to many, is a defining trait of exceptional minds. It is not about avoiding the world, but about engaging with it wisely. It is about mastering oneself before attempting to master external influence. And in this quiet vigilance, the high IQ individual cultivates a power that is silent, resilient, and profoundly attractive. An intelligence that moves unseen, but shapes outcomes in ways others cannot comprehend. To witness such an individual is to understand that brilliance is not measured by noise or presence, but by the depth of perception, the discipline of observation, and the serene mastery over one's own mind. 3. The deliberate embrace of boredom. A habit that separates the exceptionally intelligent from the ordinary is their deliberate embrace of boredom. In a world addicted to constant stimulation, social media notifications, news cycles, entertainment, and endless chatter, the high IQ mind seeks silence, monotony, and the slow, unhurried rhythms of thought. This is not laziness, nor escapism. It is a conscious practice of mental discipline. It is the understanding, as Epictetus taught, that the quality of our thoughts shapes the quality of our lives. When we allow our minds to flit endlessly between distractions, we surrender control, leaving our intellect vulnerable to the trivial and ephemeral. High IQ individuals recognize boredom as a crucible. In those quiet moments when nothing is demanding attention, they confront the unfiltered workings of their mind. They face their anxieties, their desires, and the latent questions that society usually masks with noise. Rather than fleeing, they observe, analyze, and refine. This habit creates a depth of self-awareness that is invisible but transformative. It is here, in the seemingly dull and uneventful, that insight emerges. Ideas that are not borrowed, but discovered. Consider the psychology behind this habit. Most people instinctively fear stillness because it exposes them to themselves. They seek distraction to avoid discomfort. But those with exceptional intelligence see discomfort as an opportunity for growth. They understand, echoing Seneca's wisdom, that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. By deliberately embracing boredom, they reclaim control over their attention and cultivate patience, a key component of wisdom. This practice also sharpens creativity. The brain, unburdened by constant external input, begins to form connections that are hidden in the noise of daily life. Insights emerge from the margins. Novel ideas arise from quiet reflection. And solutions to problems reveal themselves not through force, but through patient contemplation. High IQ individuals understand that true innovation is not born from busyness, but from the disciplined allowance for thought to unfold naturally. Boredom also teaches resilience. By enduring periods of inactivity without panic or irritation, they strengthen their emotional fortitude. They learn to tolerate discomfort, silence, and delay, skills essential for navigating a world that often rewards impulsivity and superficiality. In this sense, boredom is not emptiness, it is training. It is the daily exercise of the mind's ability to remain sovereign over its reactions, to resist trivial impulses, and to cultivate inner stability. Socially, this habit manifests subtly. High IQ individuals are often perceived as mysterious or detached, but their quiet is intentional. They do not fill silence with empty words because they value thought over noise. This restraint becomes a form of magnetic presence. Others feel the weight of their mind, the calm assurance of someone who is not easily swayed by fleeting emotions or the chaos of the crowd. They are not driven by the need to impress, but by the pursuit of internal mastery. The embrace of boredom also encourages discernment. In moments when nothing demands attention, they evaluate priorities, assess relationships, and clarify goals. They learn to distinguish the essential from the trivial, the meaningful from the superficial. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Boredom is the obstacle willingly faced, transforming stillness into a path for mental clarity, emotional resilience, and strategic foresight. Ultimately, this habit is strange precisely because it goes against the instinctive drives of society. It is an exercise in patience, self-control, and observation, the same virtues championed by the Stoics. By deliberately seeking moments of quiet discomfort, the high IQ mind gains mastery over itself, develops insight others cannot access, and cultivates a presence that is quietly magnetic. In embracing boredom, they do not escape life. They sharpen their ability to navigate it with wisdom, grace, and power. In the shadows of monotony, they discover brilliance. In the stillness, they find depth. And in the silence, they cultivate an intelligence that is profound, resilient, and irresistibly compelling. This is the paradox of the extraordinary mind. It thrives not in chaos, but in the deliberate, disciplined embrace of what others flee.
4. The habit of questioning everything. Intelligence is not measured solely by the accumulation of knowledge, but by the relentless habit of questioning. Those with exceptionally high IQs do not accept information at face value. They do not submit to the comfort of consensus or the simplicity of popular opinion. Instead, they approach every statement, every assumption, every societal norm with quiet, deliberate scrutiny. This is not cynicism, nor a disdain for others. It is the disciplined practice of discernment, a trait the Stoics revered as the foundation of wisdom. Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. The high IQ individual internalizes this, understanding that curiosity and doubt are not weaknesses, but engines of intellectual growth. This habit manifests in subtle but profound ways. In conversation, they listen not to respond, but to understand. They probe deeper, asking questions that reveal hidden assumptions and challenge superficial conclusions. In decision-making, they do not act impulsively. They analyze, anticipate outcomes, and weigh consequences. They recognize, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, that if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. Questioning everything is a pathway to truth, a deliberate exercise in separating the essential from the trivial. Psychologically, this habit strengthens mental resilience. By constantly examining their own beliefs, high IQ individuals learn to tolerate uncertainty, to sit with discomfort, and to resist the seduction of easy answers. They develop a mind that is both flexible and grounded, capable of navigating complexity without succumbing to fear or bias. This inner fortitude mirrors the Stoic principle that it is not external events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. By questioning everything, they cultivate clarity, emotional detachment, and strategic insight. Creativity thrives in this mental ecosystem. When every assumption is open to scrutiny, ideas are not limited by convention. Connections between seemingly unrelated concepts emerge, original solutions present themselves, and innovation is a natural byproduct of a mind unwilling to accept the obvious. High IQ individuals understand that true progress lies not in repetition, but in the courage to explore unknown intellectual territory. They embrace ambiguity as a space of potential, not a threat to security. Socially, the habit of questioning can be disorienting to others. The high IQ individual may appear distant, detached, or even challenging, as their probing questions reveal contradictions and discomforts that many prefer to ignore. Yet this is precisely the power of this habit. It forces clarity, both internally and externally. People are drawn to those who illuminate truth, even when it is uncomfortable. The quiet magnetism of a mind that understands deeply and questions thoughtfully cannot be replicated by charm or superficial knowledge. Furthermore, questioning everything sharpens self-mastery. Each belief, each emotion, each impulse is subject to scrutiny. This is a practice of self-discipline, echoing the Stoic aim of controlling what is within our power while accepting what is not. By examining their motivations, high IQ individuals prevent themselves from being enslaved by unexamined desires or societal pressures. They cultivate autonomy, resilience, and a sense of purpose that is unshaken by the whims of others. The paradox of this habit is that it is simultaneously unsettling and liberating. It requires courage to confront uncertainty and complexity, yet it yields profound clarity, wisdom, and inner freedom. In questioning everything, the high IQ mind escapes the comfort of illusion, refines its judgment, and discovers truths that remain hidden to those content with the superficial. Ultimately, the habit of questioning is a testament to the power of the extraordinary mind. It embodies patience, discipline, and courage, the same virtues that Stoic philosophers prized above wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures. Through relentless inquiry, the high IQ individual cultivates insight, influence, and an irresistible depth that others can sense but rarely articulate. They are not merely intelligent, they are awake, present, and sovereign over their own mind. In a world that favors certainty, comfort, and conformity, the high IQ mind dares to question. And in that daring, it becomes quietly, profoundly, and irresistibly extraordinary.
5. The habit of seeking solitude. Intelligence often finds its strength not in noise, but in silence. Those with exceptionally high IQs gravitate towards solitude, not out of loneliness, nor out of disdain for others, but out of necessity. In solitude, the mind is freed from distractions, free from the constant barrage of opinions, expectations, and superficial stimuli that clutter ordinary thought. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." High IQ individuals instinctively recognize this truth. Solitude is not a punishment, it is a laboratory for the mind, a space where deep reflection, creativity, and strategic thinking flourish. This habit manifests in subtle ways. A high IQ individual may avoid constant social media scrolling, may decline trivial invitations, or may choose to spend hours reading, thinking, or simply observing the world. They are often misunderstood as aloof or detached, yet their silence is purposeful. It is in these moments, away from the noise of the crowd, that they process information, connect ideas, and synthesize insights that the world will only later perceive as brilliance. It is a deliberate cultivation of mental clarity, mirroring the Stoic practice of reflection and journaling. Seneca once advised, "Withdraw into yourself and look, and if you do not find yourself beautiful yet, act as does the artist who wishes to bring the statue to life within the marble." Psychologically, this habit fortifies the mind against impulsivity and superficiality. In solitude, the high IQ individual examines their thoughts and emotions, separating truth from assumption, desire from necessity. They learn to master the restless impulses that ensnare those who live perpetually in external validation. They develop patience, resilience, and strategic calm, the ability to observe without reacting, to act only when necessary, and to remain centered in a world obsessed with noise and instant gratification. Creativity and insight thrive within solitude. When the mind is not constantly interrupted by the opinions of others, it can roam freely, forming connections that would be impossible in a cluttered environment. New ideas, original solutions, and unconventional perspectives emerge naturally. This is why history's most brilliant minds, from Leonardo da Vinci to Einstein, valued long hours alone, in contemplation, reflection, and silent study. Solitude allows the mind to ascend beyond the ordinary, to explore the depths of thought without constraint. Socially, this habit sets high IQ individuals apart. They are comfortable alone in ways that others rarely are, and this autonomy exudes quiet magnetism. People sense a depth, a self-possession, a mind that is not swayed by the trivialities of popular opinion. The aura of someone who can entertain themselves, who finds richness in their own thoughts, is irresistibly attractive because it signals independence, stability, and intelligence. As the Stoics would say, he is a man who is not dependent on anything outside himself. Moreover, solitude is a training ground for emotional resilience. In isolation, the high IQ individual confronts the mind's shadows, fear, doubt, impatience, and learns not to be dominated by them. They cultivate equanimity, understanding that true power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. This internal fortitude is reflected in every interaction, every decision, and every challenge they face. They become unshakable, not because they dominate externally, but because they have built an impervious inner citadel. The paradox of this habit is that it is both challenging and rewarding. Modern society often equates constant engagement with intelligence or success, yet the high IQ mind understands that depth requires withdrawal. Solitude is a sanctuary where thought is sharpened, self-mastery is forged, and insight is born. It is in this quiet space that brilliance, creativity, and resilience converge. Ultimately, the habit of seeking solitude is not mere preference. It is a necessity for extraordinary minds. It is a conscious choice to prioritize reflection over distraction, depth over superficiality, and mastery over appeasement. In a world addicted to noise, the high IQ individual finds freedom in silence, power in calm, and wisdom in the shadows of their own mind. Solitude is not emptiness. It is an arena where intelligence, vision, and quiet strength are cultivated, shaping a mind that is unyielding, insightful, and quietly extraordinary.